struggle reviews. I just got through a whole caramel apple sucker. Still got all my fronts. Before we get into this review, I just want to thank everyone who is supporting my channel. You know, all you good people who came and watched and you subscribed, because I've seen all my views, you know, kind of go up, but y'all not subscribing. So I'm gonna give you a minute to subscribe. So just hold on. Click. All right, so now that that's all out of the way, let's get into this review. This has been like what feels like the longest journey, and it was all worth it, because this last episode 12, season 1, did y'all watch it? I'm gonna assume y'all watched it. Man, let's get into it. Oh, before we get into it, I just want to say Wu-Tang is for the children. Okay, let's go. So the episode kicks off. We kind of picked up where we left off with Arabella seeing the guys who assaulted her. Now we start off and they go into the bathroom and they're kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do. We see that Arabella, you know, she's planning for this. Like, I was waiting for this to happen. They always return to the scene of the crime. What do you think we've been sitting here all this time for? Arabella proceeds to take disguises out of her purse. She has a, you know, a little short platinum wig, this latex leather Lady Gaga pre-fame dress. But yeah, I was with the episode, and then things got a little surreal, because by the time we got to, okay, this is the plan, this is what we're gonna do, Terry, put this hat on, I'm gonna call Theodora, and you know, we're gonna all set this up. I was with it. I was like, okay, this is a bit elaborate, but this is I May Destroy You. This is Bella. Maybe she did have some things in her purse. I don't know. But the ladies are sitting there and kind of, you know, peeping the scene, trying to figure out what they want to do. And Theodora says, you know, we need to see which pocket he has it in, and, you know, you go and walk up to him and you distract Terry. Can you dance? You go distract, you know, his friend who eludes him in these horrible events. So she goes over. Bella goes over. I'm with the story so far. I'm like, okay. All right. Bella goes over and starts talking, and she she looks so, I was like, is she dreaming? The way that she was talking to him, the way that he was behaving, not that our word behaves a certain type of way, but it just seems so unreal. So I was like, is she dreaming? Is she dreaming? But by the time her and Theodora concocted this plan to, oh, ding, he has it in that pocket. Ding, I'm gonna go take it. Ding, he's gonna put it in my drink. Terry's covering the man's face, dirty whining all the man's face, like, hey, ow. Okay, yeah, this is definitely not real. By the time he puts the date R-word drug into Arabella's drink, and she's like, oh, yep, go throw that over there, wetting the whole entire back of, I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely not real. She like wet it, then threw it, then like spit it out and ran off. Now, not that it's a, a funny situation at all. It was just funny how when something like this happens to you, you always get those, what would I do if? And this was Bella's if. This was her ultimate revenge fantasy if she ever found the guy who did this thing to her. So we knew, once again, this is not real, because he proceeds to like, okay, she's under the influence, let me take her to the bathroom. We saw, in her real life reenactment that they took the time to call an Uber, pay a guy at the door, take her to an entirely different club. But, and Bella's fantasy, they went straight to the bathroom, reiterating, this is not real. She has to be dreaming. This has to be a fantasy. This is a what if moment for Bella. But they get into the bathroom and she, snaps to it before he can assault her again. And, she gives this ultimate speech of what I would say if I confronted my assaulter. Like, it was very much so, I'm taking this back. This is my moment. I'm not afraid of you anymore. Kind of like what we saw her do with Zane in last episode at the table. But at this point, he's already removed her underwear and everything. This is about the point where it turned into Charlie's Angels. And I'm going to talk about that again with Terry's fantasy, because I was like, when did this turn into Charlie's Angel? Once Theodora broke out the syringe, put the drugs in the syringe, slid under the bathroom stall, and stabbed him in the foot. I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely not real. I was like, when the hell did this become an episode of Charlie's Angels? We got disguises. We're in the bathroom. I thought that they were going to break into a whole fighting scene in a minute. But after he realizes, what it is, and Theodora's kind of doped him up. They high five. Yes, girl, we got him. Bella is not satisfied and proceeds to follow him out of the club. Now, I was trying to see, I felt like there was some significance there, because his friend was just as guilty as he was in my eyes. But we didn't focus too much attention on the friend. We just wanted, to distract him. And, he gets with the other friend. He's trying to figure out what's wrong. And he clearly sees that his friend is off his rocker, because he's been called out on, being what he is. Arabella says, he still has my underwear. We need to follow him. So they're following him. By this time, he's left his friend. He's just, I'm going home. He's just walking and walking and walking. This is a very intense moment. But leave it up to I May Destroy You to put some comedy on top of comedy. They're, following him and following and following. And Bella says, did you really get the syringe in? Did you really stab him? How do we know that he's not, under the influence? How do we know that he's not sedated? And she's like, because he can't hear us, and he's this close. They're walking and following him. They proceed to cue him. He finally passed out, and they, take Arabella's underwear, and Terry's, very much frightened, and Theodora is down for the cause. Like, and Arabella goes, I want to see his penis. Now, I can't think of how many assault scenes that I've seen in movies and shows. Normally, when the assaulted finally gets to the assaulter, that's the first area they go for, because that's what you violated me with. That's what you hurt me with. I'm trying to see it. I'm trying to dismantle it. I'm trying to cut it off. So Arabella, I want to see it. And goes ham, goes crazy. And I was like, okay, well, we getting a couple of kicks in. I kind of was taken back, because I'm like, for this to be what I'm thinking is a fantasy, it's going on a very long time. Is this real? I hope it's not real, because if it's real, Arabella going to jail for murder. And then I was pulled back, because by the time Theo had strangled him and Arabella has beat him to a pulp. Oh, we got to stash him. We have to do something with the body. Ding, I know what to do with him. Arabella gets on a bus with the body. Alone. A whole dead body alone. And, you know, this was also a part of her fantasy because there's another passenger on the bus and there she's looking like there's a whole bloody man next to you. And she goes, you know how boys will be boys, which is what we hear a lot with assault situations, whether it's physical, sexual, the spectrum. Boys will be boys. A lot of things are excused. A lot of behaviors are excused with boys will be boys. Arabella gets off the bus. I love the little music that was playing at the time. It was like murder mystery horror movie / like this was clearly a fantasy, and she confirmed it with, and we knew that this was Arabella's fantasy because, oh, I know where to put him. Where does Arabella put everything she wants to forget about, things she wants no part of, things she wants to be tucked away? Under that bed. Arabella pushes the dead body under the bed. And proceeds to, you know, I'm guessing go shower, and she gets out and starts to try to finish the rest of the draft for her book. But she can't because there's so much blood on her hands. There's so much blood. And she didn't even touch the body. The blood just appeared and was on the wall. And as she's trying to, you know, kind of figure out, like, I need to get this off. I'm trying to finish. The blood is just spewing out of his body underneath her bed. And it was kind of, you know, like a metaphor. Like, she's been so blocked and couldn't finish her book this entire time because this stain, this blood stain has just been on her for an entire year. She couldn't concentrate. She couldn't focus. She couldn't fathom writing a draft. His blood was in the way. But we wake up and cut back to, I was like, damn, was that real? Like, she just woke up. Is that body in there? Does Ben know the... But we're met with Ben, just like the episode before when he goes, you know, that bird is so loud. I wonder where it is. And, you know, you're gonna be outside the bar, and, you know, she asked did he want to go, and he said no. But she sits there and she looks so tense. She looks so stressed. She looks so tired. But when Ben asks, are you gonna, you know, go sit and stake out that bar tonight? Now we get into this second fantasy, which is more so Terry. We know that throughout this entire show, Terry has been carrying around this guilt for feeling like she wasn't there for her friend when she needed her the most, leaving her yet a second time. So in this episode, Terry, you know, proceeds to be kind of like, you know, Savior Terry. And Bella's more so the one now. Previous to, you know, Bella's fantasy, Terry's the one, you know, kind of scared and following along. I'm with whatever you want to do, but I'm nervous. You just killed this man. Whereas this one's, Terry's like, what do you want to do? Bella's like, you know, I'm going to call the police. And just like in real life, even though this is a fantasy, which we saw with her case, you can't just call and, you know, tell these people this is your assaulter. You need evidence. They're not going to arrest him unless you have evidence, which is sad. You know, you can be assaulted and have something happen to you. It may be running to your assaulter again. You don't have any evidence. It's your word against his. In which we know there is none because they couldn't get a match. But then again, I was like, well, if she says something like, can't they like run his DNA and match it to Whatever, it's a fantasy. But Terry goes, why don't you have a plan? Why do you think why have we been coming here for weeks if you didn't have a plan? Because I'm deranged, Terry. That's not up for discussion. I was so shocked to see how funny this episode was. I wasn't expecting funny. I was expecting, serious and dramatic, because it's such, a hard subject matter. But Arabella, Michaela Coel, managed to do this and still make it funny, which is amazing, because there's nothing funny about this. But Terry's bright idea is to have Arabella, approach him, but she wants her to relax. So to get Arabella to relax, she decides to give Arabella coke. Very reminiscent of the first time she left her all drugged up in Italy, and Biagio had to, rescue her and everything. And reverting back to, the death drop slide under the bathroom stall, stab in the leg, Arabella approaches him all coked up. I'm sorry. And she had oh man. And Terry's fantasy, it looked like she wanted to combine the first time she left her and the second time she left her, and redeem herself from both of those times in this one moment. Like, you're coked up, drugged up, and your assaulter is here. I can, reinvent this whole situation and, kill two birds with one stone. I can help both situations at once. Because the smart thing to do would be to approach your attacker coked up. But okay. So we're sliding and stabbing Theo. Theo was not, in Terry's fantasy, of course, because Terry is not a fan of Theo. We already know that. We did not see them make amends. We have not seen much from Theo since Arabella's last visit to therapy before, Kwame tussled with the ladies. I'm gay. We haven't seen her, but we know that Terry is not a fan of Theo. So of course Theo is nowhere in Terry's fantasy. This is all, Terry's moment. But Arabella's coked out of her mind, and just like that Charlie's Angel disguise, slide under, follow, moment for Arabella. She's approaching him, and of course we get Firestarter by Prodigy. That took me right back to Charlie's Angels. I was like, all right, I don't know if Michaela Coel said we're going to take a little Charlie's Angels and sprinkle it on this last episode, but that's what I got. When they hit that Firestarter and that music kicked in, all I seen was, now that's kicking your ass and moonwalking out of the room. I'm a Firestarter, twisting Firestarter. I saw that, and I saw, gosh, what is his name? The weird guy. The thin man, smelling the hair. That's what I got, but okay. Back to the... Now, Bella is, coked up. And both of these fantasies, now I'm saying Terry's fantasy because this is more so Terry being in control, but of course we know that all of these moments are courtesy of Arabella. They're just from different perspectives. Now, where the first one was, that ultimate revenge fantasy. This one, when she walks up, she doesn't give her name. The first one, she gave her actual name the first time. This time, she says her name is Mattress. And, she's very rambunctious. Firestarter. Like, she's all over the place. She's completely different than she was before. The demeanor is totally changed. First time, she was very, coy, shy, a little sexy, had a sexy dress on, different whole wig. This one, normal looking Arabella. Bald head, but she's out of it. But she says her name is Mattress. And we all know, what happens on Mattress. He still, orders that drink and, slips something in it and gives it to her. And I think it was supposed to let us know assault doesn't look, a certain type of way. Because a lot of times when you are assaulted, some people's mind goes straight to, well, what was she doing, to get her assaulted? What was she wearing? What did she say? What did she look like? Why did he approach her thinking that he could do that to her and it would be okay? Because I have this short latex, dress on, this little wig, same approach, same drug put in my drink, same assault took place, or, you were trying to take place. Second time, completely different demeanor. I'm not shy. I'm not quiet. I'm not being sexy. I'm not being coy. I'm loud. I'm rambunctious. I'm all over the place. I'm clearly on drugs. Don't care. Because I'm after one thing. So I could care less what you look like, or you telling me your name is Mattress. Assault can happen at any time to anyone unwanted. So her demeanor had no effect on this assaulter. In both fantasies, we see that Terry is used as a distraction for the other guy. Like, she's using, her sexiness, her feminine wiles to distract this guy. She's using her body, her dancing skills. All, I was waiting for, because, they each, like, oh, I'm going to distract him with dancing. It's not, hey, let's, go to the dance floor and dance. Which I'm sure, was still so she could kind of keep her eye on Arabella at the same time. But it's one thing to, talk to someone and distract them. It's another to get on top of them and ride them cowgirl. That's a whole different situation. But both times, Terry is on top of this guy, riding him for distraction. Arabella proceeds to walk to the bathroom. Tipsy to the bathroom, and of course he follows her. And in both fantasies, Arabella doesn't get straight into, haha, I'm not, intoxicated. I'm very much aware. You put something in my drink. She continues to let it just on the cusp of the assault actually happening, pulling her pants down, pulling down her underwear, and then saying something. And in each fantasy, she makes sure that she says his name over and over. David, David, David. What are you doing, David? David, I know you put something in my drink. I know who you are. But unlike the last fantasy where he ran off, and this one, he gets really physical, really harmful, really pissed. And goes, oh, you knew the whole time and you let me get all the way here. Slammed her against the bathroom. Arabella isn't fighting. She isn't, resisting. She's taking it. And in so many words, he's saying, oh, you're just so upset and at this moment that I'm caught. There are bigger things going on in the world. There's a whole war in Iraq. There's this and there's that. And the worst thing in the world to you to call me out on is me trying to F your brains out in the bathroom. Oh, poor you. We heard that before. There are children starving. There are children starving. The homeless. There's, a war in Ghana, and we've heard that before. Arabella trying to calm herself by saying, why should I focus so much on my incident? There are bigger things going on in the world. And this assaulter is reiterating that. Why do you care so much to pull me all the way in this bathroom, to call me out on putting something in your drink, attempting to R-word you? There are bigger issues going on. Girl, calm down. Who cares? Wake up, little girl. She's so deep. Now, we go from him being downright frantic, almost abusive, to him breaking down and crying on Arabella's shoulder and her consoling her assaulter. It's so hard not to say the R word. She's consoling him. He goes through this whole spew of, he's been in prison and, this is, like almost conditioned in him. And she feels sorry for him. Now, I feel like there is some significance in Terry only standing outside the bathroom and calling the police. Because this is, this was Terry's moment to shine and, help her friend. But this is still in Arabella's mind. So Terry's there to help, but instead of, you seen her, downright and intoxicated and, we're trying to catch him in this moment and get him arrested. But Terry never actually goes in to see if Bella's okay, because he could have done anything to her in his bathroom. She stands outside of the bathroom. We're standing outside of the situation trying to help, just like in real life, because we weren't there when we needed her. But the police rush in and Arabella's gone. Once again, we end up back in the bedroom because we took the dead body and put it under the bed in our last fantasy. Now we're back in the bedroom. But unlike before, our assaulter is very much alive. He's very much approachable. And Arabella is sitting there. She's kind of frightened. What have you been in jail for? Because of course he's been in jail for the R word, of course, for assaulting people. But he goes through this long list of all kinds of assault, all kinds of R word, spousal, in jail, multiple women. And he's, it's not right for me to be sitting here comfortable on your bed. Why aren't you scared? Why aren't you scared of me? Why aren't you scared? This is not okay. Terry calls. Arabella flips that phone over. Just like last time when she called because she was trying to see what happened with her meeting up with Simon. Flip that phone over. I don't want to talk to you right now. But the police show up to Arabella's apartment, yard, and the David starts to break down, and he's saying, don't leave me. I'm scared. Don't leave me. I didn't do anything to you. Don't leave me. I'm scared. I just don't want you to leave me. And once again, with the metaphors from before, her putting him under the bed. And this one we see that, don't leave me. I'm scared. Don't leave me. Feeling like it's a metaphor for her not wanting to leave that situation behind. This has been Arabella's life for a year because it's hard to let something like that go. She couldn't let that go. This has been her life. Don't leave me. I'm scared. Please don't leave me. I just want to stay with you. But she, lets him go and he's being arrested and she breaks down. She feels hurt for, letting him go. No. She's hurting because it hurts to finally let that situation go. Finally accept it and try to move on. So that was, don't hurt me. I'm scared. Please, I just want to stay with you. No, you can't stay with me. I have to move on with my life. I have to let you go. So unlike last time, because we keep seeing that part of the wall where that the draft is still incomplete for her book, she actually writes something and sticks it on there. And there's a deep sigh. It's not fully, completed, but she adds something, unlike last time when the blood was just in the way and she couldn't add anything. We cut back to, her waking up again, once again. Ben's there. Man, that's a loud bird. I wonder where it's coming from. Y'all know I love Ben. I love Ben, and this episode solidified why I've loved Ben this whole show. But you know, what you doing tonight? You still, hanging out in front of that Ego Death Bar? Now, from the first fantasy to the second one, especially in the second one, because it was more so a lot to do with Terry in each one. She's dancing and using that body. But in the second one, I feel like it was kind of a repeat of her leaving her, of course, with those drugs. She, gave her drugs. You need to look like, you're on a sedative. Her leaving her with those drugs in Italy and going, ending up having that threesome with those men. And it was kind of like giving me, you left me in that horrible situation where something could have happened to me in Italy to go off and have a threesome. Because you remember, when she was stumbling in that night, she's like, if she's here, I'm gonna kill her. Well, no, what she said, I think she said, if she's not here, I'm gonna kill her. But she was there, unconcerned for Arabella having a threesome. So I think that maybe that was the significance of, instead of actually really helping the situation, Terry's grinding it up. But we get a split in names. First fantasy, his name was Patrick. Second one, well, of course he gives his name and says his name is Patrick in the first one. The second one, he doesn't give his name at all. I don't recall him giving her his name. I just, he keeps trying to know her name, and she goes, my name is Mattress. But then she starts to call him David. And when the police come and get him, she's, oh, David. She's David. If you blink, you would have missed it, because they love to put this stuff up in there. Arabella is, before we get into that third scenario, before she, a mattress, whoo, fire starter, she's kind of dancing around and jumping before they, go into that bathroom the second time. But herself walks up to her. Herself, in that monster jacket, those, jeans, that infamous pink wig, walks up to her. I had to watch it a couple of times because I was trying to see, was it herself walking up to her? I mean, it was herself, but was it night of the crime stuff? Did she have on Simon's sweater? No, she had on, that red sweater, monster looking jacket and that pink wig, looking the way that she did really in the first episode when Biagio was putting her in the Uber, and when she was talking to Biagio on the beach, and also when because she always has a jacket on when she's in the presence of Biagio. When we're kind of reverting back, she has that jacket on. So she had that jacket on when they went to sit on the beach that time. She had it on when he, wouldn't say that they were together, or, she's his girlfriend, that first episode, putting her in that Uber. And when he wouldn't open the door for her, she had that jacket on. So herself with that jacket on and that pink wig walked up, danced a little bit, and walked away. Let me know if y'all saw it. I'm like Act 2, Fantasy 2. My name is Mattress Firestarter. Herself walks up to herself, dances a little bit, and walks away. Pink wig, monster jacket. Heavy episode, man. Heavy episode. Now, on to this third act. Save the best for last, huh? Man, that bird is loud. I wonder what kind of bird that is. You want to come with me to the Ego Death Bar to, Nope, I don't get out much. Well, if we're going, If you're grown, we'll be there. We get into this third fantasy, and they're not, outside the bar anymore. They start and they're in the restroom. A woman walks into the restroom. Arabella looks into the stall, and the lady has, a hospital gown on and has the blood on it. Like whole reenactment of when she had to go and do the assault kit and, get swabbed. And remember, she was on the balcony patio-esque area with the lady, like, oh, this is my umpteenth time doing this. This happens to me all the time. This is normal at this point. It's expected. Kind of reminiscent of that in one stall. And in the third stall, you see Arabella, Terry, and Theodora as kids talking, being friends, which we know never happened because she saw, which I'm feeling like she feels a little guilt for it. Not saying that Theo was right in any sense, because that was the whole situation, episode 6. But I never took the time to talk to her to see why she felt the need to do this, see why she thought that this was okay to do to another student. I just, took it to the principal to save my friend, and that was it. I never thought about what she may have been through, which we know, what she went through with her mom and that whole situation. But in the midst of her checking the stall, Terry is finally confiding that, when we, met when we were in Italy, I met those 2 guys. Yeah, it was kind of, premeditated, and, they assaulted me in a sense. Arabella isn't listening though. Arabella is, checking those stalls, reverting back to, childhood Bella, current victim Bella. She's not listening to Terry and, what happened to her, which is a thing in itself. And that can be said for the audience too, because, we were there for it, and we saw, them give each other the nod and like, oh, this was a premeditated situation. But we forgot about it. Nobody talked about it. Nobody brought it up. Granted, she didn't say much about it, but it's a fantasy. I'm not a prude. The wildest thing I ever did. It was, something for her to brag about. But when she does say something about it, Arabella is, kind of goes in one ear and out the other. And she's like, what'd you say? When she says, would it be okay if Arabella goes, how would that go? I'm sure she wouldn't mind. You might like it. You guys might end up being friends. And Terry goes, I wouldn't go that far. Now, unlike the first 2 times, they come out and there's no one else in the bar. It's only Arabella, Terry, the assailant, the assaulter, and the bartender. Now, unlike the last 2 times where, it's been, all about him and what he wanted to do and him putting something in the drink, him initiating everything, Arabella is very much a predator in this episode. She's going after him. She knows what she wants to do. She spotted him in the bar, felt like he looked good, and that I'm coming for you. She walks over, unlike the first 2 times where she ordered, the gin and tonic. He, you want to buy me a drink? Oh, sure, I want a gin and tonic. Yeah, like, let me get 2 gin and tonics. This is my fantasy. This is my moment. And now he's, back to Patrick. He was Patrick the first fantasy. When he didn't give his name, he was David. And then in the next one, he's Patrick again. But, they're talking. She is romanticizing this assault in this one. She's in control. Not only is she in control, but she's romanticizing their encounter. No, you didn't approach me, and put something in my drink. You wanted me and I wanted you. But, they're very close. They're whispering something and like, oh, let's get out of here. I want you. Whatever it was. As for Terry, unlike the first two where, you know, she's using her feminine wiles and her body to control the situation, and this one, you know, she admits to Arabella what happened to her in Italy and her being assaulted, you know, it being, you know, a premeditated situation against her. Terry has power in this fantasy also. She's not using her body to, you know, distract the friend. She's sitting back and relaxing, and he's awkwardly dancing for her. This was, you know, Terry having some power in this moment also. But unlike, you know, Arabella being, you know, lured to this stall and stumbling and drunk, she goes voluntarily and they're, you know, passionately kissing. And we end up back at this bedroom. Now, I think we keep ending up back in Arabella's bedroom because this is where a bulk of her assault lies. When she came to and, you know, tried to figure out, you know, what was going on, and, you know, she hit that doorknob when she finally made it home and had that first revelation of the assault, got that, you know, that first flashback. She was in her room when she was assaulted by Zane, of course. She was in her room. So there is a lot of that, you know, under that bed. There is those bags, that, you know, evidence. There is a lot of significance with Arabella's bedroom. Now, they get back to her bedroom. It's, you know, very dim, very romantic, and they're having sex. Arabella proceeds to flip him over, and she penetrates him. And it's kind of played as, you know, I'm taking something back. You approached me, you penetrated me, it was unwanted. I'm going to penetrate you in this fantasy. This is my moment. I'm in control. I'm going to you. And, you know, that's what that was. But, you know, it's very much, you know, it's loving, it's sensual, it's passionate. It's romanticized, but I'm still in control. I'm still you this time. Now, after this act, you know, they wake up. He's, you know, damn near in love in his eyes. And Arabella looks like she's about to cry. Still very much strong and in control, but still looks like she wants to cry. And he goes, I'm not gonna go unless you tell me to. High key. This assault, I'm not gonna go unless you tell me to. Unless you make me go, unless you work at it, you take care of yourself mentally, physically, to get past this, I'm not gonna go unless you tell me to. And, you know, it's romanticized at this point. I'm not gonna go unless you tell me to. Like, I want to stay with you. I want to stay on you. I want to stay stained on you. That blood under that bed, that creep, that pain, that trauma. I'm trying to stay on you. I'm not gonna go unless you tell me to. Go. He gets up, walks out, going. The bloody corpse gets up from underneath the bed, holding that sonogram. Now, I said, I believe that was like episode 9, when she, you know, kind of went through all her trash and everything and pulled it out. I did say that I felt like it was from the assault, but I feel like this confirms that it was. But I mean, we never know. It could be it just being, you know, another traumatic situation, some more hurt that Arabella, you know, feels like she needs to let go, and he just happens to be taking that with him. But y'all tell me. I feel like it was significant for him to take that because he put it there. Arabella gets up, and the two notes that she put up last time in her last fantasy, she takes them off. I don't need that. I don't need that in my book. Once again, we go out. We're with Ben. But it's a different Arabella this time. She doesn't look so hurt. She looks more relaxed. And, you know, oh, that's a loud bird. I wonder where it's coming from. You gonna do, you know, the ego death bar thing tonight? No. I think I'm just gonna stay in. This show is like, this show is so good. I mean, if we never got a season 2, this is a masterpiece in itself. But, you know, she says, I think I'm gonna stay in. And goes over to hug Ben. And he's, you know, what was that for? And like, just for being you. I'm staying in. And we kind of see like that kind of kinship, that friendship that they kind of had in the beginning when she just, that very first episode when she had just got back from Italy and they were so excited to see each other. And they, you know, were sitting and watching the little psychedelic looking show. It's so colorful. They were watching it, but you could see like they had, you know, this is something we do together. This is our thing. We sit, we, you know, watch our shows, you know, smoke a little weed. I hang out with Ben. We hadn't seen her after the assault. There was no more hanging out with Ben for this entire year. But now, I think I'm going to relax to Ben. We're coming full circle. She came full circle. We're finally back to Arabella before the assault. So all of these fantasies that we've been through, did Arabella ever actually see her assaulter standing in the ego death bar again? We don't know. I don't think so. But we had fantasies of, what if I did see him? What would I do if I got that moment to that, you know, that redemption? But when, you know, we finally get that revelation of, no, I'm not going to sit out and look, which makes me feel like she, you know, she never actually saw the assaulter again. And she kind of took a breath of, and I don't have to. I don't have to wait and sit out to ever see him again. I don't need to, because I'm healing. So if I don't ever, you know, get that vindication of, I finally caught the assaulter, this man, you know, who did this horrible thing to me, I'm still okay. I don't need that. I don't need to sit out there and wait for anything anymore, because I'm okay. I'm okay now. It's so good. It's so good. So we get to Arabella. She's, you know, on her bed now. She's on her bed now. New sweater. I saw that. New sweater. And, you know, no monster jacket. No wig. No horns. No scarves. Bald head. New sweater. New phone. Who's this? She, you know, opens her book, and that symbol is on there from when she, you know, found out, you know, what Kwame did that night, and she went to talk to her therapist, and her therapist had to correct her. You know, there's a, you know, certain level balance that we, you know, all need to be at. We're here. You're here. Ye here. That's the, you know, art for her book cover. She's dedicated her book to Terry. Your death is my death. Your birth is my birth. I dedicate this book to Terry, my best friend. Full circle, y'all. We have totally forgiven Terry. So nice. Then we get to Terry and her new beau, Kai, sitting in front of the TV. Sitting in front of the TV. Kwame's there. Ben is there. Arabella's there, and Theodora is there. Theodora, who appears to be now in the inner circle. What Arabella wanted all along, for her friends to get along. Nice. We finally get to see Terry acting, y'all. She got a... well, we know she had a job last episode, but we had never actually... we didn't see none of it all show. Terry had this, imaginary fund of money. No work. Terry got some work. Terry has a job. A job. Terry has a job. She finally did a whole commercial. We saw it. Everybody's, clapping. Everybody's so proud of her. Full circle moment for Terry. Oh. I don't even... oh. Amazing. So after we, get that, we cut to, Arabella at her book signing. And her book is called, January 22nd. And prior to any of that, we saw, the wall when Arabella decided, I'm not going, to the club. I'm not going there anymore. Those plants were growing. Do you grow? Do you grow? Bitch, I do now. Do you grow? Yes, I do grow. I do now. She has grown. Not only she's growing, but time has went by, enough time for her to get her book published, self-published. No publishers, nobody to answer to. Where's your draft? No, it's mine, all mine. Did it all by myself. And she's at this book signing. There's a crowd, so clearly people are interested. And right as she's about to probably read an excerpt from her book, we cut back to Arabella on that beach in Italy, where she wanted to be this entire time, where she wanted to get back to. In her mind, she thought, I'm getting back to Biagio. That's what I'm trying to get back to, because he made that happen for me. No, we weren't trying to get back to Biagio. We were trying to get back to that water. We were trying to get back to that beach. She got back to the beach, and we see her in that whole new. It's like a purple, that purple wig that she wore when she was in Italy, and she takes a breath and runs off. Like, I'm happy, y'all. I'm okay. And that's where we leave off. God, that kid don't shut up. Wasn't it good, you guys? It was so good. Oh my goodness, it was so good. I may destroy you, but I didn't. It did not destroy her. She is very much okay. I did not destroy you. I may destroy you, but I didn't. Damn, that's good. But yeah, we get, everything full circle. Arabella's written her book. She's, fixed her friendships. She's focused. She's rejuvenated. She's back to, you're never 100% yourself again after something like that. But she's okay now. She's accepting now. There's nothing under that bed anymore. Terry not only has an acting job and, finally got to see herself on I am an actress at The Real Terry Pratchett. I am for real this time. And not only that, I have a love interest. I have Kai. And of course, we have Kwame down there, who did, try to apologize and make amends for his situation in his own way, whether it was reciprocated or not. And he now has a whole love interest in Tyrone, which we didn't see in this episode. We see, Theodora being pulled into the fold, which she wasn't before. There was no interest to see what is wrong with her to make her do something like this as a teenager. But now, because we that Arabella did feel some guilt about that. Not anymore. She's here. We're friends. Supporting Terry in this commercial. Ben is here. I love you, Ben. Just because. Full circle moment. Woo! 12 episodes. 12 amazing episodes. They never dropped the ball. One episode, I was never disinterested. One episode. And it was so worth it. This was so needed. And it's hopefully watched by everybody. Well, we know that. Yeah. But go watch it. It was so good. But as I said before, I hope you guys, enjoyed this review thus far. I hope you guys subscribe. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. Like me and subscribe. Click it. You won't be sorry. Like, I'm bum as fuck. But, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I, look forward to giving you some of this Lovecraft Country. And this has been amazing. Hope you guys enjoyed the journey. See you guys later. Subscribe. Bye.